Hello everybody, and in this video, I'm going to be showcasing you the new Dassault Rafale, and also telling you how you can get the Dassault Rafale really quickly. So, let's get into the video. So, you want to get the Rafale. Well, what's its quest? Destroy 20 enemy boats using any plane, and then destroy 60 enemy air vehicles using any plane. So, these don't have to be enemy air vehicles, they could be a member of your faction, actually, because this guy is a member of my faction. And so I recommend one of 3 vehicles, the V-22 Osprey, the Harrier, or the F-35 Lightning. The Osprey and the F-35 are definitely the best picks. And I'm going to go with the Osprey because it is American camo on it, and I like that camo. Or this is the Freedom camo, not America. But, I fly. What you're going to want to do is this. Go over to a friend's Tycoon, and then have them spawn a helicopter. So, L3, spawn a helicopter, I don't know where you are. Have them spawn a helicopter, like this. And then have them spawn an aircraft, another aircraft, a plane, like this. And you can switch between them for a little bit until he runs out of plane parts, because there's no plane that costs 0 parts. And then yeah, you can just farm helicopters. It takes a little bit, but it works. And then for boats, L3 coming over to the boat dock, you can just go and spawn a jet ski or another boat like an RHIB, because they're really low HP boats and easy to kill. And if you're in a private server, he could switch between them, spawn helicopter, spawn plane, and spawn a boat. But that's only if you're in a private server and they have the fly command active. And then that, my friends, is how you can get the brand new Dassault Rafale very quickly. And so, let's move on to the showcase now. So, I'm now going to showcase the Dassault Rafale in 3 cases. And just before we start, let's look at what the Dassault Rafale has. Its health is 800, the speed is 290. Some special functionalities include flares and an ejection seat, and its armaments are the ones listed right where my mouse is at. So yeah, it's just not the worst aircraft, but it's just a pretty average aircraft. Aircraft differ from each aircraft to another aircraft in what they have that make them actually unique. This one's pretty set and dry, as it looks like an anti-ship aircraft. And so, I will start with a showcase of how it fares against boats, specifically a Zumwalt, how it fares against ground vehicles, an Abrams X, and how it fares against aircraft, with an F-35. And so, yeah, I will start with the Zumwalt showcase. Alrighty, so here is a Zumwalt, and here is my Rafale. And I get to test out the missile damage, which, to start, is pretty good. Seeing the missiles do 1500 damage. I guess they turn into torpedoes that have a lock. I don't know. The missiles on this do 120 damage each, and then the gun does 15, which this isn't too insane. But those missiles did 3,000 damage to him. Max out, they would do even more. So they're actually pretty good, actually, to be honest. And then now I'll just cut to when I'm bombing him, so you can see the bomb damage. .450. Because it didn't say in the prior clip, well, now we are going to be looking at the Dassault Rafale versus tanks, specifically the Abrams X in this showcase. So now the showcase against tanks, or ground vehicles. So I can only lock it with my ground missiles, but oh, they just didn't need that. I thought the active protection system would surely take that missile and just make it so it didn't hit. But yeah, these missiles do 800 damage total. It's not too good, but if you max them all out, it does a lot more damage, nearly 1,000, which is around half the Abrams X's HP. The gun, well, the gun I'm not able to aim that low. Alright, Abrams X, get out of the runway so I can lift off. But I'm going to show you the gun and the bombs in the air, and then obviously I cannot lock the ship missiles on it, because they're ship missiles that turn into, like, torpedoes, I think, at the end? I'm not sure. Also, I don't know why the rings are here. Those are from an F-30, from the F-22 quest. So the gun does 18 damage, which is pretty good. Bombs do pretty good damage. It looked like it did 300, but it was already too low, so it got blown up. Yeah, overall, against ground, it's not the worst vehicle. It's pretty average, though, against ground. Most vehicles are, well, enabled to do this sort of stuff against ground vehicles. Yeah, let's move on to how it fares against aircraft. Showing it off against an F-35. Alrighty, so here's an F-35. So let me just gain some energy here so I can actually turn. And then the gun is pretty standard. It does 60 damage and melts aircraft. The missiles are not that good. They only do 175 to aircraft, so that's barely doing much damage to him. But aircraft are lower HP, so not much damage is needed. And then obviously bombs aren't really important here because I'm not going to be hitting a bomb on him. Yeah, it's an aircraft. I'm not going to bomb it. And so yeah, now just give the final ratings for the Rafale against air vehicle, ground vehicle, and boats. Air, ground, and boats. And also it's just overall stats compared to other aircraft. So yeah, I will cut to the ending part now. For the Dassault Rafale, in terms of HP, I would rate it a 7 out of 10. It's better than most aircraft, but not by a large margin, and there are still a lot of aircraft better than it. In terms of speed, I would probably rate it a 7.5 out of 10. It is the same thing as the HP, except it's a bit better for it in this scenario. It's just generally a little bit better. In terms of overall firepower, I would rate it a 6 or 7 out of 10 against ground and air, respectively. But against boats, it is a 10 out of 10. It does an absolutely insane amount of damage to boats. Being able to just deliver 3,000 damage, no upgrades, to a boat at any given time, pretty much. And then just get away with it, because it can just fly away. And yeah, flare and just get away with its crimes. Yeah, overall, I would rate the Dassault Rafale probably a 7 out of 10 aircraft or 8 out of 10. It's a pretty good aircraft against boats, but it's nothing too insane, and I wouldn't use it against aircraft and tanks and other ground vehicles. But yeah, against boats, I would get it just to destroy boats. It is really cool. So yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.